we're going to take a look at Jesus, the Day of Atonement, and the scapegoat. We're going to turn to Leviticus chapter 16, verse 7. Then he is to take the 2 goats and present them before the Lord at the entrance of the tent of meeting. He is to cast lots for the 2 goats, one lot for the Lord and the other for the scapegoat. Aaron shall bring the goat whose lot falls to the Lord and sacrifice it for a sin offering. But the goat chosen by lot as the scapegoat shall be presented alive before the Lord to be used for making atonement by sending it into the wilderness as a scapegoat. Okay, so what was the Day of Atonement? This was the most holy day of the year. It was the day when the priests made atonement for the sins of the people. In the New Testament, we have a permanent Day of Atonement, one that doesn't have to happen every year. That is when Jesus died on the cross, and through his death, burial, and resurrection, our sin is forgiven by grace through faith. Okay, so let's look at Matthew 27, verses 15 through 26. Now it was the governor's custom at the festival to release a prisoner chosen by the crowd. At that time, they had a well-known prisoner whose name was Barabbas. So when the crowd had gathered, Pilate asked them, "Which one do you want me to release to you, Barabbas or Jesus, who is the Messiah?" For he knew it was out of self-interest that they had handed Jesus over to him. While Pilate was sitting on the judge's seat, his wife sent him this message: "Don't have anything to do with that innocent man, for I have suffered a great deal today in a dream because of him." But the chief priests and the elders persuaded the crowd to ask for Barabbas and to have Jesus executed. "Which one do you want me to release to you?" asked the governor. "Barabbas," they answered. "What shall I do then with Jesus, who is called the Messiah?" Pilate asked. They all answered, "Crucify him." "Why? What crime has he committed?" asked Pilate. But they shouted all the louder, "Crucify him." When Pilate saw that he was getting nowhere, but that instead an uproar was starting, he took water and washed his hands in front of the crowd. "I am innocent of this man's blood," he said. "It is your responsibility." All the people answered him, "His blood is on us and on our children." Then he released Barabbas to them, but he had Jesus flogged and handed over to them to be crucified. Okay, so I think you can see where I'm going with this. On our Day of Atonement, the day that Jesus would be crucified, you have 2 men. You have Barabbas and you have Jesus. And one was set free and the other was crucified. Now we need to take a closer look at Barabbas and the meaning of his name. What was Barabbas' first name? Well, the early manuscripts have it as Jesus. So his name was Jesus Barabbas. The bar, B-A-R, stands for son of, and then the second part of the Barabbas is Abba, which is father. So his name would be Jesus, son of the Father. So on our Day of Atonement, you have one man, Barabbas, who is Jesus, son of the Father, who is set free. And you have another man, which is Christ, who is Jesus, son of the Father, who is sacrificed for our sins. The Day of Atonement, which started over 1,000 years ago, is a direct foreshadowing of the death of Jesus. God does not need sacrifices. He created the entire universe. Does he really need a bull? Any sacrifice he does is for our sake. He foreshadowed the death of Jesus on the Day of Atonement so that we would recognize that he was the Messiah. For over 1,000 years, God had the Israelites going through the motions of setting one goat free and sacrificing the other, because 1,000 years later, one prisoner would be set free in place of the other one who would die for our sins. Well, faith is a very important part of Christianity. It isn't a blind faith. God gave us signs. He gave us foreshadowings. He gave us prophecy so that those who actually look for these signs will see that Jesus Christ was the Messiah. Okay, this was the Day of Atonement, Jesus Christ, and the scapegoat, and how it all relates to one another. Have a blessed day.